Hi everyone, so today I'll be discussing on Brugia Malayi, and these are the contents of my presentation for today. I'll be discussing on what Brugia Malayi is, its classification, epidemiology, its morphological features. We'll also be discussing on its pathogenesis and life cycle, also the lab diagnosis and treatment. So first off, what is Brugia Malayi? So Brugia Malayi is a filarial nematode worm that affects the human lymphatic system, and they're one of the three causative agents of lymphatic filariasis, also known as elephantiasis. The other two causative agents are the Wucherechia bancrofti and the Brugia timori. Its epidemiology. So the Brugia species, they're more restricted to a certain area compared to Wucherechia bancrofti, which is widespread, and they're most common in tropical and subtropical regions of Southeast Asia, including India, Indonesia, Malaysia, Thailand, and other parts of China. And people living in these regions are at higher risk of exposure. The mode of transmission, they're mainly transmitted by Anopheles and Mansonia mosquitoes, and its classification, the Brugia Malayi, they're under the Animalia kingdom. They belong to the phylum Nematoda, the family Filariidae, and the genus Brugia. The morphology. So the Brugia Malayi, they're long, slender with smooth cuticle, kinked, and has a long cephalic space, having a length to width ratio of about 2 to 1. The head is slightly swollen, and the tail is ventrally curved. As the Brugia Malayi matures, they resemble a delicate white thread. The female worms, they measure 43 to 55 millimeters in length by 130 to 170 micrometers in width. For male worms, on the other hand, they measure 13 to 23 millimeters in length by 70 to 80 micrometers in width. So the adult worms, they reside in the lymphatic vessels. In the lymph vessels, they mate and produce millions of microscopic worms called microfilariae. These microfilariae, they exhibit nocturnal periodicity, meaning they're more prevalent in the peripheral blood at night, aligning with feeding habitats of the mosquito vectors. Moving on to the pathogenesis of Brugia Malayi, starts off with the bite of the infected mosquito onto the human skin and depositing the infected third stage larvae into the human skin. These larvae will then enter the human body through punctured wounds or cuts, and then later on reach the lymphatic system. At the lymphatic system, they will mature and develop into adult worms. These adult worms, they will mate and produce millions of microscopic worms called microfilariae, and they will find their way into the blood circulation from the lymphatics. So when another mosquito bites an infected person, it will ingest these microfilariae, and then inside the mosquito, these microfilariae will develop into the third stage larvae. And so, and then will migrate to the mosquito's proboscis and ready to infect another human host, continuing the cycle. This diagram under the life cycle just basically illustrates on what I've discussed on the previous slide, and we're moving on to clinical features. The clinical features of Brugia Malayi includes lymphedema, which is basically the fluid built up in your lymphatic system, hydrocele, swelling and fluid built up in the scrotum, affected limbs become grossly swollen, and the skin may become thick and pitted. This can be shown by the picture at the side. Lab diagnosis. So Brugia Malayi can be diagnosed through blood smear examination, also by concentration techniques, which will enhance the detection of the microfilariae, antigen detection, also molecular diagnostics, and imaging. Lastly, the treatment. So Brugia Malayi can be treated with antiparasitic medications such as DEC or diethylcarbamazine. So they're highly effective against both the adult worms and microfilariae. Also, ivermectin, they primarily target the microfilariae by increasing their paralysis and death.